plus UTM and others. You all have a stake in the life of the Borneo Island. So, okay, I've said my piece. I now turn over to Banie. Thank you so much, bro, for being here. And he has something really exciting that we need to share because it's not just relevant to Borneo, but it's actually relevant to the whole world. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Banie, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Boyd, for the very generous introduction. Yeah, I'm going to share a topic regarding our pioneering, just to share about work with regards to the previous speaker. Important aspect in combating climate change is actually looking at energy, and energy is actually one of the lowest hanging fruit that we can address when it comes to trying to mitigate climate change, and also how to create a low carbon society. So what we have done in Sabah is actually looking at how we can power or provide electricity to these remote communities using off-grid mini-grid system, particularly using micro hydro technologies. So a brief introduction. I just want to introduce myself and our organization called TONIBUNG, or Friends for Village Development. We are based in Sabah, in Penampang, and we run a mostly program on small-scale renewable energy systems, particularly micro hydro and solar photovoltaics. We also do solar thermal, and more recently we are also exploring technology to biogas and bampong, make it accessible or affordable for communities. That is the most important part of our work. We're trying to see how we can find design and also approaches in deploying these renewable focus on our youths to be aware that the communities are well equipped with technology. They're competent enough to run the systems, because a lot of the times when we bring technology to the community, we often disregard the importance of empowerment, empowering the communities on how to manage these systems. So that's why we put a lot of effort to provide training programs both on our center and also in situ. These are some of the product, which is basically a turbine and the fabrication, and once we complete and Sarawak. So when we're doing this provide affordable renewable energy systems for industries, and we to that the community is also able to women's, especially the women's group involved, to make sure that social from the products that they produce, many other agricultural products, but normally because of their remoteness, it's very difficult for this product to be marketed outside and package it, and now with the end of online marketing online. So the third part is actually building the local expertise and also enterprise, because you can see in this there's a two youths that have electricity well based for the micro hydro systems that we do, and of course we are trying to make sure that we can also create. Yeah.
Can you maybe you turn off your video because your line is unstable.
Okay. So sorry. So I. Can you hear me now?
Yep. Go ahead.
Okay. Sorry. Maybe it's raining very heavily in Penampang, so maybe that because anyway, just to continue, building the local enterprise and expertise is important to ensure that the renewable energy systems that we provide in the community can also provide opportunity for our local youths to gain employment in their local kampung, because our main problem, in fact, in many indigenous communities are the rural-urban migration. And rural-urban migration creates a lot of problem, not just putting more strain to our urban setup, but creating a lot of social issues for our indigenous youths that is migrating towards the city. So our main role is actually to create opportunities for our youths in the kampung, so that they can create their own enterprise in the kampung lah. So in realizing this, one of the most biggest obstacle for us is actually trying to make it affordable, equipment to make it affordable, because when a lot of these renewable energy systems are normally imported from outside, either from Indonesia, from China, from India even. So in Create Borneo, we are trying to create our own design, and also try to experiment on recycled material. For example, now we are looking at producing a lot of these turbines from plastic waste, particularly HDPE, plastic, and also aluminium. So the plastic turbine that we created actually is for small turbines. So the HDPE plastic, normally we throw away the detergent bottles and all this stuff. Now we can shred it and put into an extruder, and we can use this mold, and using injection molding, we can create turbines that can basically power whole community. And we also do the same thing for our aluminum cans, and we smelt it, and using sand casting the methods, we create these Pelton turbines that can be used for powering the communities. And all of this actually is designed by us at Create Borneo, and we have been doing this to many communities lah. So up to date, we have installed over 40 different renewable energy mini grids in Sabah, Sarawak, and also some parts in orang asli communities in Peninsular Malaysia. So we also use the community-based model, but I will not touch that particularly, because in the interest of time, because we are looking at the renewable energy grid at this discussion. But the other important key area that I want to share is how we integrate micro hydro system into what forest management, because it is very important for micro hydro to have a very good, well managed watershed. So with this correlation, we have been able to not just sustain many of these micro hydro system because of it incentivized the community to protect the forest, but it also managed to fundraise a lot of our projects through conservation grants. So yeah, it's quite difficult for us to get grants to do what they call development or infrastructure projects, but if we tie it in as part of conservation, so that's how we managed to raise a lot of our projects. So I think these are some opportunity for us to look at in under the climate change mitigation and on or flat platform that we can fundraise, or we can fund many other renewable energy mini grids in our communities through these mitigation programs. So a typical mini grid setup is actually carbon free. So you get water from the hill, from the mountain, small intake. There's no dam. Basically, you just take some portion of the water from the river, goes to penstock, it runs a turbine, and we have control systems, and goes supply the water, the electricity to the whole village. And it also helps to generate other opportunities for the villages when we have these mini grids in their village. So mini grid system for microhydro basically consists of the civil structure, the powerhouse, and also the mechanical component. But the most important part is actually the community, because without the community's engagement, the community's commitment towards building and maintaining system, is very hard to sustain this microhydro mini grids. So we have basically implemented, as I said, 40 all over Malaysia at the moment, but we still looking forward to do more. So with the success of this mini grid, we are trying to actually promote this to become one of the option for rural electrification in Sabah. So currently the progress in our smart grid is also looking at the controls, which is locally produced, now producing this control system in our center. And for this, we have been also looking at how to make it more mainstream by looking at how we can use our renewable energy mini grid as opportunity to for rural electrification. So under the UKPEC support, we are currently undertaking a study to identify villages that is unelectrified, and we are looking at how to adopt or to bring this to the government so that they can adopt it as one of their plan to electrify the rest of the community. So I won't go to this because I've already been running out of time, but I just want to share that all these mini grids are actually currently been deployed and developed with collaboration with communities. And there are few projects I also done in, for example, in Sarawak, in the Baram area. In fact, the Barrio micro hydro system that failed many years ago, we revived it. It worked for some number of years until the new solar farm came in. But the point I want to make here is it works, and it's just right out our doorstep. It's just a matter of giving it a recognition. So I think to end is actually how to well, in Borneo, one of the biggest problem is to reach the last mile communities. So it's a logistically nightmare. But when we go to these places, there are a lot of opportunities, but it actually it's a very fulfilling and very it's very fulfilling to do our work there. So maybe I think that's all I can share for now. I just want to thank again Boyd and the rest of the team at Borneo Forum for giving me this opportunity for us to share one of our work here. Thank you very much. Sorry for my internet, it's really very bad now. Sorry.
Thank you, Adrian. I think for Adrian, it's it's one of those because every time we meet and there's a connection issue there because it's always raining in that part of the Pinampang where I come from as well, by the way, not far from where you are, and it's always raining, and of course everyone is worried about flooding, and it could happen at any time, and it's a big issue, of course, over there. Now, moving on quickly, I want to introduce Eddie.
Thank you, boy.
Thank you for being here.
Here again.
Thank you. Welcome. Thank you, Piero.